Greetings, royal family. Welcome back to the channel. And thanks for clicking on the video. This is episode 6, my recap for Greenleaf. This episode was another good one. I just want to know how on earth are they going to tie up all these loose ends with only 2 episodes left. There's only 8 episodes in this season, unless they plan on pulling out an extra episode or 2. Now, I know one thing. This spinoff that they're planning better not take long to premiere, one, and they better already have the cast, the crew, and the scripts ready to go, because how is this gonna end? This better not be a flat flop of an ending. It's too good. The buildup is too good. All right, let's just get straight into it. So the episode opens up with Bishop. He is on the phone snitching to the FBI about Rochelle, okay? Because remember last week she blew back into town. That was on the last episode. And it seems that she got Bishop's collection plate all in a bunch. All right. He is not here for it. So while Bishop is handling business on the phone, May is trying to remind him of his physical that he has an appointment for. Remember, she's been trying to get him to go to the doctor because she know that Alzheimer's is acting up. Anyway, Bishop, he tells her, look, I ain't trying to hear none of that. He doesn't want to hear nothing what May is talking about, no doctor. He ain't going to no doctor. He is trying to figure out how in the heck Rochelle is running loose. So as per the FBI, he says that Rochelle, well, they say that Rochelle is no longer a person of interest. So Bishop is pissed. Now, Rochelle got him shook, okay, because he has been flying off. He was flying off the handle about a lot of this stuff before Rochelle blew back into town. But it seems like Rochelle got him like frazzled because they had a slight affair, and he gave her too much of his business, and she was all in his business, and it's just bad. Scorned lover or whatever. Anyway, so Bishop is pissed. So he's getting ready to leave, and he lets May know, look, he has an appointment with the building inspector down at Mavis's old club that's going to be their new church. So he says he ain't got time to go to no doctor. And then Lady May tells him that, Tara is going to be coming over. And he doesn't like the sound of that either. He was like, well, you guys could go ahead and dig in the mud of the past or whatever. I got things to do because I'm looking forward to a new beginning. Okay, I'm looking to the future. So Grace, she's in the kitchen. She comes down and she's just like, why does Daddy need to go to the doctor? And I forgot what May says. She says, who or something. Anyway, she blows it off. So Grace, she gets a call from Darius, okay? And it's from a different number because Darius is back in town because we were wondering where the heck he's been, right? So he lets her know, he's back home from Vegas, and he has a new phone number because his hotel in Vegas was robbed and his laptop and phone were taken or burglarized. Yeah, same difference. So he's all frazzled, and he says to her, hey, do you still have those files that I sent you in your laptop? So Grace, she goes upstairs and she's still on the phone with Darius. She's like, excuse me, Mom, I got to take this call. They're so polite to their mother, all of them, even though Lady May is so mean to them. Anyway, so he asked her if she still had the emails that he sent her, and she checks on her. She goes upstairs and she checks on her laptop only to see that her emails are being deleted in real time, right in front of her eyes. So now she and Darius, they have nothing, no evidence as it pertains to Edenvale lending. Lord. So we move on to the next scene, and it shows that Yusef Shabazz, or I call him Shabazz X, which is Phil Dumar's father, he shows up to the house, and Charity is getting ready to exit through the gates, and he's walking up. So it seems like he showed up to the Greenleaf's establishment or estate to help. So that's a good sign. So we move on quickly to see Jacob and Carissa. They're getting ready to take Lil Winky to the child psychologist to break the news to him of their divorce. So I said to myself, let me find out the little kid that plays Winky done got fired. We ain't seen him the entire episode. We saw him once this season, right? When Jacob was fishing with him. Fun fact, I'm gonna throw this out there. Winky, the little boy who plays, one of the boys who plays Winky, they're a set of twin boys, and I guess they exchange, just like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen did on Full House. I don't see. I guess useless fact number 22. Anyway, back to Shabazz X. So he enters the house, right? And he asks if all of this comes from religion. So he's referencing like the house. The house is very, very big. You see all these nice decorations and things like that. And Grace, she walks in and she introduces herself to Shabazz X, who's he's rude. You're in someone else's home and you're being rude. I don't care if you have a knitted scully on or not and a beard, my brother. Anyway, so they're all going to be sitting down with Darius, and Shabazz, he wants to remain off the records because, Darius is a reporter. So Grace tells Charity, she whispers to her like, nice work. So finally, Charity is doing something worth mentioning. Okay, that's a good thing. So we move on to see Zora. She wants Sophia to help her with an audition video. She's planning on leaving to go to New York, right? This is where her new school is supposed to be. So her flight is scheduled to leave in about 24 hours. So she has no place to stay. So she figures, I'm just going to wing it. I'll see when I get there. So do y'all think that Zora is really going to leave the comfort of her private cottage that she nor any of her parents are paying for in the Greenleaf household to go live in New York, to possibly be sleeping from couch to couch on the street or something like that? Who is she meeting up with in New York? So Zora feels, look, her parents are getting divorced. They're doing what they want to do. They're living their lives. So she wants to live her own life, whatever that means. And what kind of school is this anyway? I don't trust Zora, because the last time she ran off, things were bad. It didn't work out. Let's just put it that way. So back to Shabazz X, right? Let me get these pictures in order for y'all. So back to Shabazz X. Well, we're still on Shabazz X. Anyway, back to Shabazz X. So Darius, Charity, Grace, and Shabazz X are sitting down, and Darius is talking about what he discovered about Bob Whitmore while he was in Vegas. Remember now, his hotel room was burglarized, so he doesn't have anything. He just, I guess, only things that he remembered. So Shabazz reveals that basically Bob Whitmore has been targeting poor black families, bottom line. Now, I appreciate Shabazz X helping and all, but he's rude. He's sarcastic and he's rude. And I guess it is personal to him because his ex-wife, which is Phil's mother, was the so-called friendly woman who would go door to door to help further Bob Whitmore's plans. So Phil doesn't know any of this, right? And father and son, they haven't spoken in years. So Charity, she feels that Phil needs to know this info. She still loves him. And she wants Shabazz X to talk to his son about this. And he agrees. He says, he hasn't talked to his son in years. And he was so hard when Grace called him and when Charity called him. And now that he's sitting in front of them, I'm so shocked that he actually agreed. But I think that he had to come check these people out himself to make sure that they were legit. So, and not to mention they're pretty smart. So everybody's like kind of gathering their information. So I guess he can appreciate that because he sees how serious they are. So as they all part ways, Darius makes it plain that he wants to discuss their future. He's talking to Grace. Now, is it me or is Grace a little withdrawn as it pertains to Darius, right? She laid her head on Noah's lap last week, and now all of a sudden she barely wants Darius to kiss her on her cheek. I don't know what's up with that, but she seemed a little withdrawn. I don't know. Anyway, we move on to Lady May. So she is having tea with Tara at the house. So May invites Tara over to talk, and Tara says that Rochelle just showed up. This is what she says. So Tara did call Rochelle after Jacob and Tasha went to see her the first time. And I guess Tara must have told her that, because I said, how does Lady May know who Tara called when Jacob and Tasha left her little community center? Interesting. So May says that she is trying to do the right thing And I feel like now that Tara has seen this big, beautiful house, she's convinced more than ever that she can fulfill her dream of continuing her missionary work on a larger scale. And you know what I also found funny? It's funny how in last week's episode, when May went to go visit Tara at her little community center to see what she does and see what she's all about, right? May asked Tara if she ever thought about being more ambitious as it pertains to helping people, right? And May basically insinuated that, you know, you could be doing this on a bigger scale, feeding thousands, feeding hundreds, you know, a bigger place, because Tara's community center is run down, right? And it's interesting. And now, May, you got her sitting in your kitchen looking at this big, beautiful house. May is trying to give herself salvation, right? She says that she's trying to do the right thing, but my question is she doing so because she's expecting God to bless her and make everything better? Or is it because she really has a renewed mind? I don't know. It just seems a little bit contrived, you know? I say it's all the years of guilt that she has harbored that has her acting so erratic and extreme. Like, she is really extreme, and I'm just trying to do the right thing. She's pacing around with the Bible. We got to give them the house. That's what Jesus said. I'm waiting to hear from God. Nothing wrong with that, but it's almost as if she's trying to say these things to soothe her conscience, right? And to like suppress her guilt, or like dry up her guilt. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. Anyway. So we see Sophia going to tell Jacob and Carissa that Zora is planning on running off to New York City. So that's a quick scene. So we move on to my main man, Bishop. Pimp Daddy Slick. Okay, no, let me not call him Pimp. Anyway, Bishop. So he's at Mavis's old club. Okay, remember, the old club is going to be turned into the family's new church. New beginnings, right? So Bishop is meeting with the inspector. And while he's discussing things with the inspector, Rochelle slithers on in. How the heck did she find that place, right? She said that Tara told her that May and Bishop are starting a new church. Interesting. It's very interesting that she's feeding Rochelle information. Do we trust Tara? Put it in the comments. Do we trust her? I say no. She very well could have pure intentions, but because of who you're associated with, ma'am, you're guilty. Anyway, Rochelle, she keeps telling Bishop that he needs to tell the truth. Tell the truth. You need to come clean. And Bishop says that he had nothing to do with that fire. Let's pause. Okay. Didn't Bishop admit that he and Mac purposely set that fire to that church to collect insurance money? However, he didn't know that Daryl James was in the basement. I recall him telling Basie that. He told Basie that. I know I ain't crazy. I'm a Greenleaf connoisseur. So correct me if I'm wrong. He admitted to starting the fire. And it makes sense that they had a small church, or he was a part of a small church, and they got the insurance money from that fire, and Bishop, you know, bought Calvary, that big mega church. That's what happened. But Bishop is adamant about the fact that he was not aware that Daryl James was in the basement. Bishop said, I don't even remember what season, what episode, but I recall him saying, no one was supposed to be in that church. See, Bishop's sporadic memory loss has me thinking that he is not remembering certain things at certain times. And Rochelle, you know, she just keeps running her mouth and pointing out that things are falling apart for the Greenleaves. And he tells her to get out, get out. And Rochelle tells him, beware. And until he admits to basically killing her father, nothing will stand. So Bishop, he starts shouting at her and he says, when is it going to end with you? This delusion that you are laboring under. You're sick. You need help. Now, I noticed the way that she looked at him. She looked very triggered. And she says, she's just staring at him. And he's like, what? Like, you don't want to, like, somebody's getting on your nerves and they're just staring at you like stupidly. You know what I mean? And you're like, what? What is it? What? I felt, Keith David is such a good actor. Anyway, so after Bishop screamed on Rochelle, she says, and her tone was a little hurt. She says, Basie should have killed you when he had the chance. with that neck roll, and then she walks off. Now, Bishop's saying that Rochelle is delusional. Listen to these words, delusional and sick and needs help. I thought that was interesting. Like, it kind of quieted her down when he said that. It obviously triggered some emotion in her. Is she really crazy? Is she really delusional? Who knows? But Bishop, you are sick as well, and you refuse to go to the doctor. Yo, I like these writers of this show. They just give you so much to dissect. Maybe I'm reaching, but think about it. He says, you're delusional. You're sick. You need help. Bishop, you're sick and need help. You have a disease that's obviously not under control. Your wife can't even get you to go to an appointment for a physical. Anyway, I love the writers. Maybe I'm doing too much, but I just paid attention to that little scene there. Moving along to Noah and Grace. They are at the doctor's office because 24-year-old AJ has a doctor's appointment, and mom and dad, they decide to attend. And they're in the waiting room, right? And they're discussing the journal and the info that Noah revealed last week about the house. So Grace says, I found those journals and I did see those sketches. So Grace, she wants to know how Noah was able to get AJ to this doctor's appointment. And Noah says that AJ was excited after his talk with Bishop about the car. Bishop has a GTO that is in pieces and the car needs to be built. So Bishop told AJ last week, hey, if you build this car with me, even though neither one of us know anything about building cars, you can have the car. So Noah's just like, he came home excited. He started showing me and my mom pictures of GTOs, and I don't know, it's just done something to him. Now in this moment, you can tell that Grace, she feels a little bit sad by this because she gave AJ anything he wanted, everything. And Grace lied to the police for this boy, and he treated her like crap. And for Noah to just whisk in overnight, and AJ is so obedient to him, and so, Grace is taken aback by that. And I could tell that she's hurt because it's like, since I came back to town in season 1, I've been doing for everybody and everybody is just crapping on me. Jeez. Anyway, so Noah tells Grace, look, I'm moving out my mama house and I'm getting a place for AJ and myself. And look, if things don't work out with your parents' house and your parents lose their house, you're more than welcome to come stay with us. Strictly platonic, but you're more than welcome. So Grace says, thanks, Noah. Thanks. I don't know. Something's up. Just something's up with this AJ boy. I don't care how much he's smiling and giggling and, excited about a GTO. Something ain't right. Moving along. Back to Jacob and Carissa. Okay, so they go to talk to Zora. And Jacob, he basically handled the situation without Carissa having to chime in. Carissa, as usual, watch your temper. Like, go talk to Winky like that. Stop talking to Jacob like he's a kid. Anyway, Jacob was rational, and he made a deal with Zora. He says, look, there's a lot going on right now, okay? Is your ticket refundable? Zora says, yes, it is. So he said, okay, give us some time to talk about this. Let me and your mother talk about this. Give us about a week. And he says, look, you could possibly stay with your cousin in Jersey. Zora's like, but Hoboken is a city in New Jersey. Shout out to Jersey all day, every day. Anyway, Hoboken is not New York. First of all, Hoboken is right by New York, sis. But why is she so adamant about being in New York? I don't trust Zora. Because we know that she lies and likes to run away and sneak out. Anyway, so Jacob, he's rational about it. He said, maybe we can give our cousin such and such a call and see if you can stay with them. Just give us some time. So Zora ends up agreeing. And, you could see that Carissa is so, she likes that. She approves of Jacob's method of reasoning with Zora. Ciao, bye. Anyway, moving along. Woo! Bishop and May. Baby. When I tell you that Bishop has had enough of May and her shenanigans, he has had enough. So Bishop comes in raging, mad. And because remember, he just came from dealing with Rochelle. So he tells May, you are not giving this house to those con artists. Full stop. So May is like, what happened now, James? You know? And he tells May that Rochelle stopped by the club and threatened him. What did he say? She threatened me with the force of a gang or something like that. The wordplay between May and Bishop, just beautiful acting. Anyway, so May was, conversing with Bishop, and May was about to say that we got this house after Daryl James was murdered. She was about to say murdered, but she stopped herself, and Bishop says, after Daryl James was what? And she switched it up real cute. She said after Daryl James was no longer able to accept this house. She stopped herself. She changed that up real quick. Anyway, so Mrs. Davis, right? See, I'm so glad that May brought this up because I've been wondering this. I've been wondering this all season. So Mrs. Davis was the owner of the house before the Greenleafs took ownership of it, right? And I have been wondering, what connection do the Greenleafs have with Mrs. Davis, right? Well, May must have been wondering the same thing, because she asked James, why would Miss Davis leave the house to them? Why would she even leave the house to Daryl James? Not them, but why would she leave the house to Daryl James? And why would Mrs. Davis then turn around and give them the house? Like, how did that happen? She never visited their church. And May said she never visited their church until Max sent Bishop over there to see it. The it is Calvary, which is now Harmony and Hope. Now, I've been saying this all along, that all of this is Max's fault. All of it. And Lady May basically cracked the code right there. Now, remember, Jacob found the revised will in Max's storage unit in that fishing box. Remember? All of this is Max's fault. Going to be saying it until the episode ends, and possibly saying so in the spinoff. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Y'all hit the like button yet? And drop your comments while I'm talking. Just go in that comment section and tear it up. Anyway, I think Lady May knows it because her brother was a slime ball. And the guilt of all of this is eating her up. She knows Mac is a slime ball. Let me tell you something. If Mac was still alive, he would make all of this go away somehow. And Lady May would definitely use him to her advantage, as she's done in the past, right? Come on, y'all. Y'all know, if you've been watching this from season 1, episode 1, then you know what I'm saying. You may not even agree with me, but that's all right. But feel me on this. If Mac was still alive, if Mac was still alive, maybe none of this would be happening. But he always made things go away. He always was the cleanup dude, for Lady May's crap, Bishop's crap. He was a slime ball. I think that's another reason why Lady May resents Gigi, because Gigi sent his slimy behind up yonder, if you know what I'm saying. Gigi took him out. So I feel like that's another reason why Lady May resents, one of many reasons why Lady May resents Grace. Lady May is she's a trip. Like, I'm on fire, y'all. Like, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. So I've been rocking with Greenleaf since season 1, episode 1. So let me know what you think as I'm saying these things. Anyway, Jacob comes in and he interrupts and asks his parents to come say farewell to Carissa and Winky because she's leaving to go stay with her parents. Good. Send her back from where she came. So May tells Jacob, she didn't even say, oh, yes, we'll be there down in a minute. Her immediate response is, marry someone you love next time and be faithful. Now, that was a dig at Bishop, but she low-key read herself because you was the one that wasn't faithful. I mean, I don't think Bishop was faithful either. But girl, you kept a secret from your entire family for 40 years. Poor Grace had to find out on her own by her own investigation that James Greenleaf is not her biological father. That was season 3. And she had to confront you, Lady May, to force you to admit it. A whole mess. So Bishop says, we'll be down in a minute. And Lady May's getting ready to go off, and he says, I ain't done. So she was like, all right, James, go ahead. Continue. Let me tell you something. James Greenleaf read his wife down. Okay? He says, you want to talk to me about holiness? Try confessing your own sins. And then he says, every mistake I've made has been broadcasted all over this town. You lived a life for 40 years and you're still living it. Telling that boy how to live, referring to Jacob. Keep your holy admonitions? Yeah, I think it's keep your holy admonitions to yourself. And he put his hands up and he walked out. Lady Mae, he told your behind. Now he is getting angry at like her self-righteousness. Like I said, like she's just so overzealous. And I also think that Bishop is hiding something, y'all. I really, really, really do. I think that he doesn't want something to be exposed, because last week when he and May were going at it, when Charity interrupted and said, you know, let's go down to the church one last time, he was upset when May was saying, we're going to have to give her the house. You know what I mean? And he's like, you're going to make me look like a murderer. Like, he's just antsy. He's uneasy about something. Boy, they got so many they got more secrets than Victoria, child. Whew, Lord. So we move on. Let's take a break from Bishop and Lady Mae, because it's a lot. So we move on to see Carissa and Jacob. So she's heading out and she's packing, and she is sad because now Jacob, she says she feels now Jacob is the husband that she's always wanted because of the way that he handled the Zora wanting to move to New York situation. And he said, you know, when you were talking to Zora, you said us or we or whatever, blah, blah, blah. She cries and she tells him that he can have shared custody of their son. Bye, Carissa. And you bet not take any of Lady Mae's good linens on your way out either, because I know Marisol is watching you. Anyway, Charity, she is at the church. She shows up at the church, and Phil and Judy, they're sifting through some papers and things. And Charity shows up with Phil's father. And Phil's father is trying to tell Phil, look, that Bob Whitmore used his mother, right, Phil's mother, to take advantage of black people, you know. Phil doesn't want to hear it. Phil picks up the phone and says that he's going to be calling the police. Now, did you guys notice that when he was expressing his anger and talking about his mother, Phil, you noticed that he turned to Charity and was telling Charity this, you know, saying that his father walked out, and he would always, I guess his father might not have worked, probably because he couldn't because of his record. Yeah, you notice that he turned to Charity and he was just basically saying, like, you know, my mother worked hard and you ate the food that my mother put on the table from all her he ate the food that my mother put on the table after all her hard work. So I guess the mother was actually working and the father wasn't, and then he left. But you notice he turned to Charity and expressed this anger. He loved Charity. He does. He loves her. So he tells his father that he never wants to see him again. And Charity tells him that she will pray for him because only God can help him now. And I just love the way that everyone ignored Judy the entire scene. Listen to me. Phil ain't dumb, you know. He knows what Bob is doing. He absolutely knows what Bob is doing. Bob took advantage of him and promised him like a promotion and all this fame and a title, all while stealing his intellectual property. You don't remember when Phil said last season, all those books that Bob Whitmore has written, that's me. I'm the one that really was the author that wrote those books. Phil knows it's true, but he's too caught up on getting what he feels he deserves come hell or high water. You know, he was a sidekick to Bob Whitmore. Bob Whitmore was using him. So he's going to get something out of the deal. For Christ's sake, Phil is marrying a woman, Judy, or supposed to be marrying Judy, who he despises just to remain in Bob Whitmore's good graces. He thinks that all of this is going to pay off, but he's losing a piece of his soul day by day. Dramatic pause. Boy, that was a good scene. Charity, you really were likable. I'm here for it. All right, so we move on to Carissa's little going away party. So the family is gathered outside. Jacob and Carissa, they hugged. I'm sure Lady Mae is relieved. Okay, and Carissa ends up driving off. The family is waving to her. Lord have mercy. Lady Mae, y'all notice Lady Mae waited until Carissa was long gone to make this announcement, because there is no way that she could be so self-righteous when it comes to Jacob and cheating and her cheating and all this other stuff. But she told what she told Carissa the other day and what she told Jacob when she was yelling at him. She wasn't gonna let Carissa know this. Anyway, so yo, Lady Mae is really something else, She really is. So she's like, gather around. She has an announcement to make. So as she says, as we enter this season, new beginnings, it's important that we don't drag out our past behind us. I'm sorry. I'm anxious to get to this. So Bishop, he tries to interrupt her because he knows what she's going to do. And she shuts him down. He's like, Mae, I didn't mean. She's like, oh, I know what you meant. And with the help of your father, I have realized, he made me realize something. And she tells Bishop, that she will not be beaten down with the stick of her past, not by Bishop or herself. This is what she says. She said, ever again. So again, you see what I'm saying? Because of her guilt, she's rushing. Oh, I'm a reveal it all, just so that you can't hold nothing over me anymore. Not I'm gonna reveal it all because I'm genuinely apologetic and remorseful. No, you ain't gonna hold nothing over my head. I'm gonna reveal it. Overzealous, man. So Charity ends up driving up and she's just like, what's going on? Like, why's everybody outside? And she tells Charity, just be quiet and listen. She's like, all right, what's the announcement, mama? So she tells the family that Grace is the product of an affair that she had with Lionel Jeffries X amount of however long ago. So Grace is like, but before she even said that, Grace is like, what's this about, mama? She's like, you actually know. Giving Grace no heads up, no consideration about how this will make Grace feel. And, it just dawned on me as I'm talking now. When Grace found out that Lionel Jeffries was her father and not James Greenleaf, she could have embarrassed the heck out of her own mother for treating her like crap her entire life. She confronted her mother by herself and asked her mother, is it true? She didn't do it in front of the entire family. You couldn't extend the same grace to Grace? Ooh, Lady Mae, you is a treacherous woman. She said at the end, basically she said, we are still family. And then she says dinner will be served at 7:30 and then walks off, leaving the family standing there. Just walks off like real matter of fact. I'm like, yo, this woman is nuts. She didn't even stick around to offer anybody any comfort or anything like that. Anyway, Bishop, he stood outside and he embraced the grandchildren. He opened his arms and then they came and hugged him, Sophia and Zora. And Mae, she and her little mules, her heels, her slingbacks, walked right in the house, just like it was nothing. Dinner at 7:30, and that's it. As much as I love Lady Mae, she is spiteful. She is so spiteful. She could have done that in a better way, right? She could have done that way better than she did. Once again, singling out Grace and embarrassing her. Like, you didn't even give her a heads up. You did it out of spite. She just made that announcement so matter of fact, and then she only did that to get at Bishop because she did not like the way that he called her out for her nonsense. She didn't. Lady Mae, you wicked, girl. You are wicked, ma'am, and it's in her. And it just overshadows all of her attempts to be, quote, righteous and holy. this road to redemption that she's on. And then you're going to hit them with the dinner at 7:30. I can't. Yo, Lady Mae acts like Grace is the reason that she had an affair. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense, right? She's the product of an affair that you chose to have. And Lionel Jeffries was Bishop's friend. He passed away in season 4 from cancer, and he left Grace a whole couple of $1 million and stuff. But then again, I thought about it. I said Mae is a product of an abusive family, so she gives that same abuse to her children. I just can't with Mae. That was wicked to me. Like, you're very spiteful, and because it was at Gigi's expense, she didn't care. because she's been treating Gigi like trash her entire life. And Gigi even said that. So the next scene, we see the siblings, Jacob, Grace, and Charity. They're chilling out back and they're having a few drinks. And they're like, that was the quietest, most awkward dinner ever. And I thought this was a great scene. It just reminded me that this is the last season. Charity is drunk and she's making the point that their life and family is comparable to like a plane crash, and they're laughing and they're cracking jokes about Grace being light skinned. So it was a good scene. I loved it. It doesn't change a thing for them. You know, Jacob said, look, at the end of the day, you're still my sister. None of that matters. Like, I'm sorry that I'm not like more or saying more about this Lionel Jeffries thing. He's like, but I don't care, you know, and he meant that in a good way. You know, they were raised together. Bishop told her the same thing. When Bishop found out, Bishop said he didn't even have a conversation with her. He was like, you are my daughter, period. That was the beginning and end of that conversation. You're my daughter. She still refers to him as daddy. So Bishop knows. Lady May knew. Obviously, Grace knew. Grace confirmed that Aaron knew, and Kevin. First of all, Kevin is Charity's ex-husband and the father of her son, Lil Man. We haven't seen Kevin since what? I think he was in season 4, right? I think he was trying to get custody of the son, but we haven't heard from Kevin or his name be mentioned all season. So Charity's like, oh, Kevin knew before I did. What difference does it make, Charity? But Charity was very likable in this entire episode, and especially in this scene. You know, yes. So what a way to redeem yourself, Charity. I'm here for it. So in the middle of the little siblings hanging out or whatever, Grace, she gets a call from Darius, and he calls her saying that he got a lead on this Edenvale lending story, and he's got someone who's willing to testify because he was the victim of Bob Whitmore stealing the house from this particular person. So Grace, she heads over to his house, and we'll see where that turns out. Grace, gosh. Anyway, Sophia and Zora. So Zora comes into where Sophia is. Sophia's reading the Bible about adultery because Lady May just revealed basically that she committed adultery, and her mama is a product of that. So she's upset that Sophia told Jacob and Carissa about her escape plans. Zora, that is. So Zora says that she always thought that grandma was freaky. I said, what? She said, we're all a little bit freaky. Girl, whatever. Anyway, Zora says that, you know, to get back at Sophia, that she told Grace about Sophia's picture. So I guess they're even. Anyway, we move on to Grace. Baby, where is Darius? So Grace, she shows up to Darius's house, and he's not there. His car isn't there either. Something seems wrong. Plus, the suspenseful music is a dead giveaway, right? So she's knocking. Grace is banging on the door. She calls his phone. No Darius. Then a car pulls up, and a man hops out and tells Grace to be careful because no one cares about journalists anymore. She's like, where is Darius? And he attempts to grab her arm. He said, come on, let me take you. So Grace, you know, takes her arm back, and she's like, where is he? And he says, stay out of it. Like, he basically tells her to mind her business and stay out of it. And I'm like, where the hell is Darius? Lord, no, not Darius. Darius was doing the right thing. Now I have a question. Is this Fernando? You see the picture? Is that the one who Carissa slept with? He looks like him. Because when he hopped out the car, it's like Grace immediately knew who he was. Grace knows who Fernando is. Because remember, she caught Carissa at Fernando's office. Anyway. Not doing anything, but she was just like, what are you doing here? Y'all remember? Anywho. Is that Fernando? Lord have mercy. We don't know where Darius is. They probably were following him, tapping his phone, hacked his emails. Mind you, he got fired from the paper because he was digging into this story. Lord, please don't tell us that Darius is dead. In my closing, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to say that there is one person to blame for all of this. And boy, after much digging, I found the photo. This sleazeball, this is all his fault. This is Mac. I think this was from season one. I think this was from season 1 when he was in jail. He ended up getting locked up, and Bishop had to bail him out. Remember, because he knows too much. But thank you, Grace, for sending him up yonder. This is Lady May's brother. Some of you may not have been watching Greenleaf from season 1, but those of you who have, you know who this slimeball is. This is all his fault. And again, in every review, I'm going to be saying that. There's only 2 more episodes left, so you have to hear my mouth for 2 more reviews. All right, Royal Family, this has been fun. You know, I like to be intense and extra because this is the last season, so, you know, we got to go out with a bang. But thank you. If you made it to the end of the video, I greatly appreciate you sticking around and listening to me ramble on about this Greenleaf family. So what do you think? So next week, Bishop is supposed to reveal a secret. You know how editing works. So he's supposed to be revealing a secret. Next week is day 7. That's when the church is going to be demolished. So it looks like they're having one last sermon, and the Greenleaf family is going to show up. Here is what I think. I think that Bishop is going to admit to burning down his old church for insurance money and using that money to buy Calvary. I still think that he is going to hold on to the fact that he was not aware that Daryl James was in the basement. I think he's going to admit to the insurance fraud. That's what I think. Tell me what you think. What is Bishop going to admit? I still think that Lady May and Mac were the ones that had something to do with Daryl James being in that basement. If it is Bishop, I'm going to be sad, but not surprised. But I think he is going to reveal that he committed like insurance fraud and you know, has done some sketchy things as it pertains to getting that church. So be sure to drop your comments. Let me know what you think. I cannot believe this review is this long. But anyway, Royal Family, I love you for watching. I can't wait to read your comments. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the commentary. Make sure you check out some of the other content on the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. Consider hitting that subscribe button and make sure your notification bells are on so you don't miss any of my uploads. All right, y'all. I'm signing off. I'll see y'all next Tuesday for the final church service, the 7th day. Signing off, Royal Family. I love you for listening. Until next time, peace.